Welcome. Welcome to TechSphere. Today we're going to dig into a topic that's been everywhere in the dev world lately, React versus Next.js.
Yeah, it's a debate that everyone's got an opinion on, especially if you're building for the web.
For sure, and here at TechSphere, we're all about giving you the info you need. So consider this your crash course on these two JavaScript powerhouses, and we'll try to help you figure out which one might be right for your next project.
Because they both have their strengths, definitely.
Okay, so to kick things off, let's start with the basics. What exactly are we talking about when we say React and Next.js?
So at their core, both React and Next.js are tools for building those really sleek, dynamic user interfaces, the kind you see all over the web, like those interactive maps, those smooth scrolling image carousels, even that little notification icon that pops up to tell you someone liked your post. That's the kind of stuff these frameworks are great at creating.
Right, but they each go about it a little differently. It's kind of like React gives you all the pieces, and then Next.js says, hey, we arrange these in a way that usually makes the most sense, but you can rearrange them if you really want to.
That's a really good way to put it. React, which was developed by Facebook, is, technically speaking, a JavaScript library, not a full-blown framework.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Yeah, so a library is more of a collection of pre-written code that you can use to build stuff, but it doesn't dictate the overall structure of your project. A framework, on the other hand, provides that structure, kind of like a blueprint.
So it's more opinionated.
Exactly. Now, don't let that library thing fool you, though. React is used by some seriously big hitters. Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, they all rely on React for their front-end development.
Well, there you go. It's all about efficiency, right? Writing less code to get those really cool results.
Absolutely. And because it's been around a while longer, React's got this huge supportive community of developers around it. That's like gold when you get stuck on something or you're just starting out and need a little guidance.
That's something I always look for when I'm checking out new tools. How strong is the community? Because let's be real, everyone needs help sometimes.
100%. Now, on the other side, we've got Next.js, which takes all the good stuff about React and adds a whole other level of efficiency and optimization. It's built on top of React, so you're still using those same core concepts, but Next.js makes the process even more efficient.
So it's React, but like souped up.
Laughs. Yeah, kinda. And one of the key ways it does that is with something called server-side rendering, or SSR for short.
Server-side rendering, huh? Sounds kind of technical. What's actually happening there, and why should I care?
Okay, so you know how sometimes when you click a link, the page just kind of like hangs there for a second? Maybe you see a blank screen or one of those spinning loading things while you wait for stuff to show up.
Ugh, yeah, the worst.
That's often because that website is using something called client-side rendering. It basically means your browser gets sent a bunch of code, and then it has to do all the work of putting the web page together on your device.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, imagine ordering a bookshelf online, but instead of it showing up all put together, they just send you a box of, like, planks and screws and are like, good luck!
Oh, I've so been there. I am not good at assembling furniture.
Right. So with server-side rendering, it's like that bookshelf arriving already put together. The server does all the hard work of assembling everything before it gets sent to your browser.
So it's like the difference between instant gratification and like waiting forever. Yeah. And when it comes to the web, I want instant.
For sure. Who doesn't? And that's where Next.js really comes into its own. It has server-side rendering built in, which is a dream for developers who care about performance and SEO.
Makes sense. So if I'm a developer who's all about speed and efficiency, Next.js is sounding pretty good.
Yeah.
What about documentation, though? Even the best framework is useless if I can't figure out how to use it.
You're speaking my language. And the good news is that both React and Next.js have amazing documentation, well-maintained, constantly being updated, lots of helpful examples. But Next.js has a cool approach that really worked for me.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, they've totally embraced this whole learn by doing thing. Their tutorials aren't just a bunch of words. They actually walk you through building real projects step by step.
Oh, that's smart. That's great for visual learners or anyone who just wants to jump in and start coding. Sometimes you just need to see it in action,
Exactly. It's kind of like having a more experienced developer sitting there with you, guiding you along. Okay, let's switch gears for a second, talk about the elephant in the room. Developer availability.
Yeah, that's a big one. Finding a good developer these days can feel kind of impossible.
It's true. And this is where React's maturity gives it a clear advantage. Because it's been around longer, there are way more developers out there with experience using React. So if you're a company trying to hire for React, there are just more people to choose from, which is big in today's job market.
So finding a React developer is probably a little easier, at least for now. What about Next.js, though? Is it one of those like needle in a haystack situations?
Not really. The pool of Next.js developers might be smaller, yeah, but it's growing super fast. And here's the thing. Because Next.js is built on React, any developer who's good at Next.js is going to have a really solid understanding of React too.
So it's like two birds, one stone.
Exactly. They've got that React base, plus they've got the Next.js expertise on top of that.
Okay, that makes sense. So if you're a developer who wants to stand out, maybe specializing in Next.js is the way to go.
Totally. It's a skill more and more companies are looking for, and the demand is only going up.
This has been so helpful. We've covered so much: performance, documentation, community support, even the job market. As we wrap up here, what are some key takeaways our listeners should remember when they're trying to decide between React and Next.js?
It really comes down to your project, what you need, what's important to you. There's no right answer for every situation.
Like picking the right tool for the job, right? You wouldn't use a hammer when you need a screwdriver.
Exactly. So if what you're building is a really complex web app where performance and SEO are super important and you kind of want that everything's included experience, then Next.js is probably your best bet.
But if you need something that gives you more control, more flexibility over how your project is structured, or if it's a smaller project where React's giant support network would be a huge help, then React might be a better fit.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. Weigh your options, figure out your priorities, and maybe even play around with both of them a little and see which one feels better for what you're doing.
Great advice. Sometimes the best way to learn is just to get in there and get your hands dirty.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, there you have it. React versus Next.js, a breakdown to hopefully make your life a little easier as you navigate the world of JavaScript frameworks.
Thanks for diving in with us.
And if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, and tell your friends about us. Until next time, keep on coding.